And these statues would seem to represent deified ancestors. They're manufactured from local volcanic rock. In size, they can be as much as 30 or more feet in height, and they can weigh anything up to 80 tons apiece.
The Moai are enormous blocks of stone, and they moved several hundred of them from the quarry quite some distance to the platforms around the edge of the island, and there have been many theories over the years as to how they were moved. The first theories thought that they must have been dragged horizontally on sledges or rollers or something of that kind. On the other hand, many people, including myself, would say we think it's more likely they were moved vertically.
The idea that the trees were cut down at some point falls by the wayside because wooden rollers would not be able to support the weight of some of these statues. So you have to wonder, how were these Moai transported back in the day?
So there are traditions of something called mana on Easter Island, which is spiritual power, which was supposed to be imbued actually into the stone Moai themselves. And some of the traditions describe them walking from the quarry to their platforms.
So one has to wonder if mana was some type of extraterrestrial technology that allowed these stones to be levitated into place.
Imagine this, a really small island, way out in the Pacific Ocean. It's so remote that it's like a tiny speck in the vast blue expanse of water. This island is so isolated that it almost feels like it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's super far from anything else. This is Easter Island. Located over 2,000 miles from the nearest continental landmass, it's one of the most remote inhabited islands in the world. Just imagine being surrounded by nothing but ocean for miles and miles. You might be thinking, what's the big deal about a little island? Well, this tiny dot on the map holds some of the most fascinating and mysterious artifacts known to mankind. It's not just any island, it's a place that has intrigued historians, archaeologists, and travelers for centuries. Well, it has one of history's biggest puzzles, the Moai. These massive stone statues, some weighing over 80 tons, were carved by the Rapa Nui people. But how did they move these colossal figures across the island without modern machinery? That's the mystery that has puzzled experts for years. Easter Island, or Rapa Nui as the locals call it, is as far away as you can get. It's a place where the past and present collide, where ancient traditions meet modern-day curiosity. The island's isolation has helped preserve its unique culture and history. Imagine sailing for weeks and weeks and finally you see giant stone heads. The sight must have been both awe-inspiring and bewildering for the first European explorers who stumbled upon this remote island. That's what happened to some Dutch explorers back in 1722. Led by Jacob Roggeveen, they were the first Europeans to set foot on the island. Their arrival marked the beginning of Easter Island's introduction to the wider world. They landed on Easter Sunday, so that's how the island got its name. It was a day of discovery and wonder, forever linking the island to this significant date in the Christian calendar. Talk about a weird Easter egg hunt. Instead of chocolate eggs, they found these incredible stone giants. The Moai statues continue to captivate and mystify people to this day, making Easter Island a truly unique and fascinating destination. Let's talk about the stars of the show, the Moai. These ancient and mysterious statues have fascinated people for centuries. These huge statues are the first things you see on Easter Island. Standing tall and proud, they dominate the landscape, capturing the imagination of every visitor. There are hundreds of them, some taller than a 3-story building and as heavy as a jumbo jet. Each one is unique, with its own distinct features and expressions. Made of volcanic rock, each Moai is different. The rock gives them a rugged, timeless look, as if they have been standing there forever, watching over the island. Some have big heads, others have fancy hats called pukao. These hats, made of a different type of stone, add a touch of personality and style to the statues, and those eyes? They weren't always empty. Originally, they were filled with materials that made them look lifelike and almost human. Some had eyes made of coral and shiny black obsidian, making them look almost real. These eyes gave the Moai a sense of presence and power, as if they could see into your soul. Imagine seeing these giants in the dark. Spooky. The shadows and the moonlight create an eerie atmosphere, making the Moai seem even more mysterious and otherworldly. Who built these giant statues and why? That's the big question. The mystery of the Moai statues on Easter Island has fascinated historians, archaeologists, and travelers for centuries. These colossal stone figures, with their enigmatic expressions, stand as silent sentinels, guarding the secrets of the past. The Rapa Nui people, who sailed there from other islands a long time ago, made these huge statues. They arrived on Easter Island, or Rapa Nui as they call it, around 1200 AD. These skilled navigators and craftsmen brought with them a rich culture and a deep connection to their ancestors, which they expressed through the creation of the Moai. How they moved these super heavy statues without any machines is a mystery. The Moai, some weighing up to 82 tons, were carved from volcanic tuff found in the Rano Raraku quarry. The Rapa Nui then transported these massive figures across the island, a feat that continues to baffle modern engineers. Maybe they used sleds and rollers, which would have required immense coordination and effort. Theory suggests that the Rapa Nui people might have used wooden sleds and rollers to move the statues, a method that would have demanded significant manpower and ingenuity, or maybe they rocked them with ropes. Another hypothesis is that they used ropes to rock the statues back and forth, inching them forward in a laborious process that could have taken weeks or even months. Some people even think they walked the statues. This theory, known as the walking hypothesis, suggests that the statues were moved upright, swaying side to side in a manner that mimics walking. This idea has been tested in modern experiments with surprising success. However they did it, it shows how smart and clever the Rapa Nui people were. Their ability to organize and execute such a monumental task speaks volumes about their ingenuity and communal spirit. They knew how to use what they had to do amazing things. The Rapa Nui people utilized the natural resources available to them, demonstrating a remarkable level of resourcefulness and innovation. Their legacy, embodied in the Moai, continues to inspire awe and wonder to this day. For a long time, the Moai stood tall on Easter Island. But then things went wrong. This island paradise got into trouble. The people who built the statues seemed to disappear, leaving behind a mystery as big as the statues themselves. What happened? Maybe there were too many people and not enough food, or maybe they fought amongst themselves. Some scientists even think rats caused problems. Yep, little rats might have messed up the whole island. That's a crazy twist. Just when things couldn't get worse for the Rapa Nui, explorers from Europe showed up, and they brought sickness with them, which made a lot of the islanders sick. It's a sad story that's happened a lot in history. Meeting new people sometimes brought bad things with them. These new explorers changed Easter Island forever. The people who built the giant statues became much smaller in number. Their language, their way of life, their stories almost disappeared completely. So, what can we learn from this story about a faraway island and its people? It shows us that even the most remote places are connected to the rest of the world. What happens on a tiny island can affect other places. Easter Island also teaches us about how important it is to take care of our planet. Even the smartest people can get into trouble if they don't. The Moai are like silent reminders of this, a message written in stone for everyone to see.